Today, I'm taking this billion-dollar cruise ship and staying in the best room for the next 72 hours. I'll show you exactly what it's like to live on board, from one of the world's largest cabins at sea, private hot tub on our massive balcony, fine dining in the multiple restaurants, and 5-star facilities as we explore this ultra-luxury vessel. This doesn't come cheap though, with prices north of $30,000, but you're invited along for the adventure. With that, let's pick up my story in the United Kingdom. Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. You join me here at Southampton City Cruise Terminal where we're about to get on board Celebrity Apex. Can't wait for this one, so without any more to say, let's go and get on board. As suite guests, we're given a specific slot to arrive, as to ensure an expedited boarding process. But my word, it's quiet, considering nearly 3,000 passengers are getting on board today. We're shown over to the check-in desks, where further documentation is required, along with the registration of my credit card on file. Next, a celebrity representative personally escorts us over to the ship. Celebrity Apex is an Edge-class ship, which first sailed in 2021. It's not small either, coming in at a whopping 1,004 foot in length, which is about 200 foot short of the world's biggest icon of the seas. Let's go and see what it's really like then. To officially board, I need to scan my freshly minted cruise pass. Now to head up to our suite. We're currently here on deck 5, but we'll need to travel all the way up to deck 12 forward to our new residence. I say residence as well, you'll need to see to believe that it's actually a cruise ship cabin. Within moments we're on deck 12, which is largely made up of staterooms, with ours being at the very front, taking up half of the ship's width on the starboard side of the vessel. Welcome to our incredible new home, but most importantly, welcome back to the channel, Millie.
I'm back.
You are indeed. What do you think to this incredible place?
I mean, it is, as you say, just incredible, and we can't wait to show you around.
So this is easily the largest cruise ship room I've ever stayed in. In fact, I don't think it's fair to call it a room at this point. Walking into the main living space, you're initially met with the dining area, along with a complimentary bottle of Veuve Clicquot champagne. Moving onwards, we get to the sofa and entertainment space, ideal for a movie night. We've already been encouraged to order popcorn by our butler. There's even a Peloton to work off some of the indulgence no doubt I'll get carried away with at the ship's many restaurants. Hidden away in the corner is a pantry complete with a coffee machine, a water fridge, and a customised drinks fridge. Yes indeed, there's a healthy supply of DC here. Naturally, this suite boasts an absolutely huge balcony, but we'll take a look at this when we set sail. Before we check out the primary bedroom, there's the guest wing to traverse, featuring an expansive bathroom with a stunning marble-adorned shower. There's a secondary walk-in wardrobe with bathrobes and slippers, and of course the guest bedroom, which in itself is larger than most standard cruise ship rooms. Now for the cherry on top, the primary bedroom. Featuring a central commanding view out over the bow of the ship, so it's the same view the captain is getting. Additionally, there's a dressing table, and of course an absolutely huge bathroom. Yes, that's a hot tub bath. It's not long before we're notified of our imminent departure from Southampton, and after watching the brief safety video,
the instructions for donning a life jacket are posted on the back of your stateroom door.
And now to set sail on our voyage. So where exactly are we going? Our first leg of the trip will take us all the way to the Netherlands, specifically Rotterdam, in about 36 hours. Given we're at sea now, shall we go and take a look at our suite's party piece, the 700 square foot terrace, complete with a large hot tub, a dining space, cabana, and a view back to the ship's aft, which only the captain would usually get. Oh, and by the way, that's the magic carpet, in the world's first cantilevered floating platform, which moves up and down the ship. Don't worry, we'll go and explore that a little bit later. Well, now we're very much on our way. I think it's time we start thinking about dinner. Now, dinner isn't a particularly formal affair on board, however, I like to make a bit of an effort. And because I want to give Millie her space over in the primary bedroom, I've decided to make this my dressing room this evening. Let's put on something a little bit smarter and head to dinner. Much better. Goodness, I really am slacking, by the way, on the Tim's front lately. These will have to do this evening. Someone who isn't slacking is the beautiful Millie. Let's head out, shall we? Our butler has advised us of a beautiful spot for pre-dinner drinks, and given it's a sunny one, let's head to the Sunset Bar. There's a decent selection of cocktails and wines to choose from, albeit chargeable for most, but thankfully not for us. The iconic suite comes complete with a premium drinks package, so anything up to $20 is included. No danger of us surpassing that with our predictable but enjoyable G&Ts. Now we must head to dinner, which is located on Deck 5. This is Eden, one of the ship's specialty restaurants, usually chargeable at $78 per head for the a la carte menu. Described as a restaurant rooted in nature, which draws inspiration from regions the ship visits throughout the world, and a menu crafted by a Michelin-starred chef. Goodness, that's a lot of jargon, isn't it? Let's see if it's really worth the premium. Orders placed, it's cocktail decision time. Millie orders another G&T, served beautifully in, well, an orb. And I have a rum and vermouth based cocktail, complete with pyrotechnics. To begin, we're served an amuse-bouche of seared scallops, beautifully presented on a glass shell. Now for appetizers, I opt for the Bazaar bowl, served with homemade naan bread, whilst Millie is served the pan-roasted shrimp. For main course, Millie has the filet mignon and mini short rib Wellington, which surprisingly I don't choose, instead going for the Nova Scotia lobster casserole. Worry not, dessert is on the cards with a selection of 4 to choose from and served with sumptuous petit fours. Predictably, I've gone for the chocolate option and Millie the butterscotch creme brulee. Was it worth it? For a specialty restaurant, it's certainly an elevated experience, and what sets this meal aside was the outstanding staff and surprising culinary variety. With the sun beginning to set over the English Channel, shall we head over to the theatre for this evening's show? This is Rockumentary, a history of rock throughout the decades.
Welcome back to the room. How have you found the first evening?
You know, I've really enjoyed it. I think we both agree the food was really tasty, the show was awesome. I'm excited to see what the next few days is going to hold. But for now, it's time for sleep, I think.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our bed has been turned down, and rather uniquely, we've been provided with PJs embroidered with our initials. Let's get those curtains shut and head into the bathroom to change. Good morning. I slept wonderfully on perhaps the best bed I've experienced at sea before. We've been notified by our butler that breakfast has been served at our dining table, so let's go and see what it's like. Suite guests can choose from a separate retreat breakfast menu, which is pretty expansive and importantly inclusive. We've gone for quite the feast, from French toast, blueberry pancakes, a granola berry parfait, pastry basket, and well, I couldn't help myself, steak and eggs. To close off, Millie has a hot chocolate, whilst I just must have the first caffeine hit of the day. With breakfast out of the way and before we explore the ship, let's get a little fresh air out on our massive balcony. Rightly so, you're probably wondering what exactly I'm doing. This is the Insta360 X4, and it's the best kept secret that I've had on the channel for a long time now. I've used Insta360 cameras in almost every video I've made over the last few years, from trains to planes and especially cruise ships. This is the X4 and it's the perfect camera for a few reasons. I can create drone-like shots when drones are not allowed or practical. The third person perspective, which you would have already seen in this video, is ideal as I don't need a team to film me, but you can also capture the impossible looking shots easily. You'll even notice the selfie stick is invisible. The X4 has one lens on the front and one on the back, and because you can shoot in 360 degrees, I don't miss anything. I can simply use the Insta360 app to reframe the shot perfectly afterwards. Get your own Insta360 X4 today using my link in the description, and be sure to use my code when checking out to get discounts and some freebies. A quick shower later and it's time to head out and explore. We'll start firstly by taking a look at the outer decks, which are expansive. Unfortunately, we're not in the Caribbean or the Med, and the stereotypical British weather has other plans for us, so we'll put a pin in that and return when the sun comes out later. I think we're going to focus instead first on looking around the inside of our ship, so let's head down and start from deck 3. This is the Grand Plaza, located at the heart of the ship and spanning 3 decks. I'd say it's the life and soul of the ship, and the highlight being the martini bar under the massive chandelier. We'll of course be returning in the evening to experience this place properly. For now, let's head up to deck 4. Here you'll find the coffee shop, which is chargeable unfortunately, but included within our drinks package. You can however indulge in a pastry free of charge, and enjoy the comfy seating to while away a rainy day at sea. This is also where the shops are located, though these are largely designer high-end boutiques. It's cool to window shop though. Back to the inclusive features of the ship, the main dining experience. It's done quite differently to a traditional cruise ship, with no main dining room per se. Instead, there are 4 themed restaurants which you can choose from each day. Firstly, Cyprus, which focuses on Mediterranean cuisine. Next is Tuscan, which as the name suggests, offers Italian-inspired dishes. Then there's the Cosmopolitan restaurant, offering new American dining. And lastly, Normandy, showcasing a Parisian theme. I think this is a cool concept to keep it fresh each evening, and has a feel of speciality dining without having to spend extra. All this talk of food is making me hungry. Shall we head to lunch? I've booked us into the ship's sushi restaurant, Raw on 5. This is a speciality a la carte restaurant, though free to us. Let's take a look at the menu. It's pretty extensive with a good mix of sushi, sashimi and hot dishes. We'll of course start proceedings with an ice cold DC, served with some edamame beans whilst we wait for our food. First up, the salmon nigiri, followed by the ship's signature apex roll. This is incredible. Preceded by the mixed tempura and chicken ginger gyoza. All in all, a fabulous meal and something I'd recommend. Now for some more exploring. We actually have a behind the scenes tour booked of the areas you're usually not allowed in, like the bridge and the kitchens. En route, however, we take the scenic journey via some of the other accommodation on board. This is the infinite veranda stateroom, which features an electronically operated glass window, and it transforms the entire room into an incredible water's edge outside space. Mind you, you wouldn't want to do it today with the weather outside. We've been asked to meet at the Normandy restaurant, where after a short registration procedure, we're led into the kitchen. The head chef spends some time explaining the operation to us, which really does sound like a logistical nightmare, but Celebrity do seem to pull it off without a hitch. Next, we'll head further down into the ship's bowels. This is where the food is stored, along with a treasure trove of booze. Now we'll head down the central crew corridor, nicknamed the I-95, to the engine control room. This is where the 5 main engines are managed by a team of engineers. Continuing further downwards, below the waterline, now in search of the ship's laundry facility. It's time to head back up, all the way to deck 11. We have an appointment with the captain on the bridge. It's great to have the rare opportunity to see where the ship is being navigated from, but also quite surreal to think our bed is directly above where the captain is seated. As you can tell, the weather is sadly not improving. I guess another option on a rainy day at sea is to indulge in the ship's thermal circuit spa. Located on deck 14, you'll find an array of treatments available at a supplement. Though our suite grants us complimentary usage of the spa circuit, which is usually $89 a day. It's thoughtfully designed too, with plenty of views out of the ship's bow, whilst you relax on a heated tile lounger, or perhaps swing into a meditative sleep in the float room. It's that time again, dinner. We have a reservation in the ship's fine cut steakhouse. Now, I sound like a broken record, but it's ordinarily chargeable at $65 a head, though inclusive to us. We're shown over to a table by the window, and I'm happy to report it's finally sunny. Anyway, let's take a look at the menu. Order placed, I think it's time for a spot of champagne. Well, for one of us, Millie has gone for a G&T. Cheers! To begin, I opt for the King Caesar salad, because, well, we've got to start ticking off some items on our bingo cards, haven't we? Meanwhile, Millie chooses the black pepper bacon with a steakhouse sauce glaze. Unfortunately, everything starts to go downhill here. It takes nearly an hour for our mains to come out, which is a shame as things were going so well. Anyway, steak-wise, Millie has the ribeye cooked rare, though had to be sent back as it was cooked well done. I have my predictable filet steak medium rare, and thankfully cooked as such. This is served with parmesan fries, Gruyere tater tots, grilled asparagus and creamed spinach. Needless to say, it was all fabulous when it finally arrived and was cooked properly. To close off, we opt to share the ultimate chocolate sundae. Appropriately fed and watered, what exactly is there to do in the evening aside from the theatre? Well, there's the chance to enjoy a silent disco. Of course, there's also a nightclub, which is of decent size, and aside from being a place to dance and drink far too much in, they also have nightly shows, which are excellent. Good morning from the Netherlands. We've officially arrived into Rotterdam, and you bet we'll be heading out to explore after breakfast. So if you don't take breakfast in your room, there's the Ocean View Cafe located on deck 14. It's huge and can comfortably cater for the majority of guests on board. From pancakes to pastries to full English fry-ups, they have you covered. Thanks to its footprint, there's never too much of an issue finding somewhere to sit, and there's even outside seating to the aft. However, as suite guests, we have access to the exclusive retreat-only restaurant, Lumine, offering a la carte dining for breakfast, lunch and dinner. We're promptly offered a pastry selection, to which of course I have to oblige. This goes wonderfully with my first caffeine hit of the day, in form of a double shot cappuccino. Sadly, this is where it all starts to become reminiscent of last night's slow service. It took a full 45 minutes for our breakfast entrees to be served, and this was after chasing 3 times. Both are tasty, but I've no idea why it took so long. Anyway, before we head out and explore Rotterdam, let's make the most of it, well, not raining, and go and check out the outer decks. To get to the main pool, we must first pass through the solarium, which offers a warm inside pool, ideal for the rainy days often prevalent in this region. It's tastefully done and reminds me of the dome on board Wonder of the Seas a bit. Outside, however, well, that's quite different. There's no water parks and multiple themed pools. This is far more geared up for an older crowd. As you'll remember from yesterday in the rain, there's a large main pool with ample sunbeds and 2 large elevated jacuzzis. Let's continue up higher onto the very top of the ship to deck 16 and check out the magic carpet. This cantilevered platform can move up and down the ship, providing a variety of perspective to passengers. Now, it sounds brilliant in theory, but in order to be so, the weather has to be pretty much perfect. As a result, it's mostly been redundant so far on this cruise, and has remained at deck 16 for the duration. I guess when this ship is in the Med or the Caribbean, it truly comes into its own. Just adjacent to the magic carpet is the entrance to the retreat sundeck, a private space reserved just for suite guests. It's known in the industry as a ship within a ship. There's an awful lot of space up here, so you'll never struggle to find a sunbed. There's also a dedicated bar where you can order complimentary premium drinks to be enjoyed by the private retreat-only pool, or indeed hot tub. There are also 6 staterooms which open directly onto the sundeck. These are called the Edge Villa Suites and sprawl nearly 1,000 square foot over 2 floors. I know what suite I'd like to try next. Anyway, we digress. We've not finished exploring the ship within a ship. These stairs take us down to the retreat lounge, which offers a buffet selection of food depending on the time of day. There's also ample seating here, where you can enjoy a coffee or perhaps something stronger, of course on an all-inclusive basis. Should we go and explore Rotterdam then? We have around 5 hours before we set sail again, so let's get a move on. Given the ship's berth near the centre of town, we saw no need to book an excursion, though of course the cruise line encourages this. If you're not familiar, Rotterdam is the second largest city in the Netherlands. It's also one of the largest ports in the world, but around town it's very walkable. Naturally, we'll start off with a coffee, before heading down the riverfront in search of some lunch. We may have got a little distracted along the way. For now, it's time to get back on board and onwards to our next destination. I also make it the first proper time we can try out our wonderful hot tub on the balcony. Let's go join Millie outside. It's time to say goodbye to the Netherlands. Tomorrow we'll arrive in a new country. Where, you ask? Belgium, of course. For this evening, however, we have a date in the Martini Bar. Unfortunately, like what we found in both the Steakhouse and Lumine, the service is painfully slow, with our order being forgotten and several reminders having to be made. 30 minutes later, and I think we deserve a well-earned G&T cheers. Now to head up to deck 4 for dinner. I've booked us into Le Petit Chef, which is certainly quite unique. Menu-wise, well, you get what the tiny tableside chef is making. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Le Petit Chef uses 3D animation to choreograph a dining experience which unfolds right in front of you. To start, we have the creamy potato leek soup with toasted brioche croutons. Now for our next course. The citrus poached cod loin. After more animation dramatics, we're presented with the beef tenderloin. To conclude our 3D culinary adventure, we're served a rich chocolate mousse dessert. In all, a fun experience and certainly something quite different. To finish our evening's entertainment, let's head to deck 15 and to the rooftop garden. By night, this transforms to an outside movie theatre, and the Fall Guy is screening. Good morning. We've arrived into a new country, Belgium. I'm particularly excited as this means we're able to explore Bruges, perhaps the quaintest, most beautiful Belgium city. I also want to talk cost with you. As mentioned at the beginning, this has not been a cheap endeavour. But how much exactly did this cost me? In total, just under $34,000. Far from cheap, especially considering the short nature of this cruise. However, given the room we've had, I guess unfortunately unsurprising.
Welcome to Bruges.
Yes, welcome. What an amazing trip it's been.
It's been short but sweet.
It has indeed. Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all again next time.
Bye.
Thanks again to Insta360 for sponsoring today's video. Get yours today using my link down below.